In this video, I'm going to bring you up to date with the progress that I've made on the restoration of this, my ultra rare original UK market Talbot Matra Rancho. I've cut out some more rust, I've fabricated some more bits of panels, and I've discovered along the way that things are quite a lot worse than I'd originally thought. Let's get this front wing off and then I'll show you. Too many horrors in here. That's a bit worse than I kind of thought it was, but I knew it wasn't great. This whole A-pillar is a mess of bubbly paint, flaky metal and blobby welded on patches, so I'm wire wheeling it off to try and see what's going on underneath. And there's an inner skin that underneath the patches is very holy, hence the patches. And down at the bottom it seems to have rotted from the inside out as well, so there's holes there that are going to need sorting out. Before I can cut the A-post out, I need to grind away the spot welds that hold it to the inner panel. Chisel those apart while I can still get easy access, because I'm going to block all this off with a supporting frame. So now we've got a solid frame welded in. It's good and firm. That's not going anywhere. And that holds these hinges in place so that when I cut all of this away, they stay in the right place. And as long as these don't move, then this pivot axis will stay the same and the hinges will work and the door will open and close as it should. Plus it provides some vertical strength to keep the car square and ship-shape, or car shape, while I cut away the structural A-post there. I say structural, I'm not sure how much structure it's really providing these days, but it's the thought that counts, eh? At this point, I've got no idea what's multiple layers from the factory, multiple layers from crap MOT patches. What is going on? Oh, and before I forget, that pivot of that check strap hinge is directly in line with the edges of the top and bottom door hinges. So this leading edge here, the outer edge, draw a line, extend that to the bottom one there, and it passes through the middle of the pivot of this check. Cutting discs are dangerous things, and this could have been really nasty. I'm pretty good about wearing protective gear, but I'm still glad this didn't shatter and send lots of shrapnel flying. The disc in question came as part of this pack of 10. Now, I've got nothing against these discs at all. They've actually been very good, very reliable, pretty durable. But the issue with them is that they've gone out of date. On every decent cutting disc, there should be a date stamped on the metal bit in the middle. I'd use these Abrax discs again. In fact, I probably will get some to replace these, but yeah. Who knew? Someone's been here before and welded bits of reinforcing patch around these hinges. It's all a bit of a mess, really, but nothing compared with what's to come, because now that I've cut that away, I can get access to inside the upper A-pillar. And I'm a little bit... well, I kind of wish I hadn't looked, but it's probably just as well. It's very frilly in here. It's rotted from the inside out, so the outside looks great, but the inside really doesn't. So I'm going to have to take the windscreen out and cut into the pristine looking outside pillar to get at this and replace it. What I really want at this point is basically a round version of this anvil, something made of thick steel that I can hammer on with different radiuses, inside and outside curves, so I can form round shapes. If only such a thing existed. This is a rusty old front brake disc from my Audi 80, which happily now has all new brakes all round, and is a windscreen and a service away from an MOT and getting back on the road, so that shouldn't take me more than a couple of years to get done, working at my usual rate. The A-pillar is basically a box that butts up against the door and the outer front wing on 3 sides, and I'm making the leading edge here, which needs to fit snugly against this outer wing panel, which bolts into it and is held against it with some sealant. So I'm pretty well on the way with this. I've made, which way does it go? That way. I've made this bit that goes here. I've made this bit that is the bottom corner of the door aperture there. It goes there. And I've made this, which is the complicated bit where the door hinges and the check strap mount that slots in there and joins up to this back piece that I've just made. So that's all good. It needs an inner strengthening piece as well, but that's not super complicated. And I've started to make that too. So we'll finish that off. I need to do this bottom piece, which has got this rounded corner. That's a little bit tricky, but not too bad. So that's probably maybe a day's work, something like that. And then we're sort of along the bottom corner of the sill. I've still got to do the top part, which is a whole other job. So an insert of the inner strengthener that goes up into the A-pillar. But I've got to take the windscreen frame apart to be able to do that, and that's quite a big job. So that'll come next. Well, maybe not next, because I think to fit this, I've obviously got to. I'll make the bottom corner, then I'll take this off, and then I can put all this back. But it's a little bit more complicated than that, because before I can fit this, I've got to repair this, which is all rotten around here, and especially at the bottom. And before I can refit this, I've got to repair that, which is all frilly here where this welds onto it. And before I can do that, I've got to take all the carpet, and there's some sound deadening along the bulkhead there, which will be highly flammable if I'm welding here. So that's all got to come out. And to get that out, I think I've got to take the dashboard out, which is a job I was hoping to avoid, but I think it's going to be necessary. So there's still lots to do.